Hello and welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. Tonight, the manager macroeconomic research at GCB Bank PLC, Courage Buti, has stated that the slight depreciation of the CD at the retail market for the first time in several weeks could be attributed to speculations. The CD depreciated week on week against the US dollar to trade at 11 cedis 60 pesos on the retail market. Reacting to the development, Mr. Buti maintained that the slight depreciation is negligible.
It's a normal market dynamic, really. Now, the question is, if they test it and the interventions that brought it to this level is not sustainable, then you begin to see clawback to levels that you do not desire. If the liquidity intervention or the reserve levels are not encouraging, if the policy foundations are not strong, if the market sentiments are not as anchored, then you begin to see a reversal in very sharp levels. But what we are seeing now from, I think, a bottom of around 10.2425 thereabout, depending on which rate you are looking under the market, because the retail rate never really got to 10.24. So if you look at that, then you are looking at 10.7 as we speak and going into towards the 11s. I think it's a normal dynamic given the pace at which it came down. And then it would have to do that until it finds a level where it is stable and you are not seeing very significant movements. So for me, what is happening is to be expected. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary.
So it's one of those blips on the Forex market.
Definitely, in my view.
The total amount currency in circulation increased significantly from 44 billion cedis in 2023 to 71 billion cedis at the end of last year. George Yafe has more from the 2024 financials released by the Bank of Ghana.
In 2023, the total amount of currency in circulation ending December stood at 44 billion Ghana cedis. However, in 2024, it went up by more than 60% to hit 71 billion Ghana cedis. It is not clear for now what might have influenced the increase and whether it did much economic activities for last year, and how that also contributed to inflation in 2024 and that of the cedi's depreciation against the US dollar. The 2024 financial accounts released by the Bank of Ghana showed that the 200 cedis notes in circulation went up from 12 billion Ghana cedis in 2023 to 24 billion Ghana cedis ending December 2024. Many industry persons will be looking forward to the total amount in circulation at the end of December this year, and whether it could be going up or reducing in line with the declining inflation rate for this year.
Economist Professor Patrick Isuming is backing government's position that yielding to all demands from registered nurses will put government spending for this year under serious pressure. According to him, despite the legitimate concern of the nurses, this could give way for further strike actions from other public sector workers. Speaking to Joy Business, he noted that the fiscal implication on the economy could be significant.
I don't know about too much. I think that when you have to determine whether what somebody is demanding is too much, you have to look at their relative contribution. So if they are bringing in as much as they are requesting, then you can't classify what they are requesting as too much. I do think that, everything sits in relative terms. When it comes to wage negotiations, everything sits relative. You will notice that every time I've heard their leaders speak, they always relate to other unions and what others are getting. And that's really what you expect. Wages are primarily, when it comes to wages negotiation, relative positions matter. So they will look at this and they will say, well, this is what others in our sector are receiving. And therefore, if the state can afford that, they should be able to also afford this. But I think we have to understand that the number of nurses are relatively more than maybe other unions within the sector. So I think it's, I thought that these are some of the issues that the single spine was supposed to correct so that we're able to clearly quantify the payment due for each kind of service and pay accordingly. So I do not necessarily think that it's too much, because I don't really know the effect, the overall effect on the budget size. But I do think that its fiscal implication might be significant.
Away from that, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has officially unveiled its new Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashibbe, as the organization charts a renewed course in its mission for sustainable mining. Speaking at a press conference here in Accra, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Dr. Ken Ashibbe, reaffirmed his commitment to championing responsible mining across the country.
From telecoms to mines. So it's important to state that the two entities are all private member organizations. The Ghana Chamber of Mines is not a state entity. And so I just would want to state that Ahmed has not been appointed with presidential powers from Jubilee House. Neither have I also been appointed. We work closely with government, with the policy makers, with the regulators, but all in the interest of pushing the mining industry. As the interesting thing is that if you look at the objectives of the chamber itself, it stands for responsible transgenerational mining. And so it is important for the chamber to ensure that just as the chamber has done in terms of being very responsive in its mining, ensuring that areas that we mine, when we leave, the environment is restored. The members of the Chamber of Mine tend to also be at the receiving end of some of the irresponsibility and the illegal mining activities. And so there's an alignment between the chamber itself and ensuring that Ghana mines sustainably. And so I'm not too sure that much is going to change. I'm just hoping that my colleagues on the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey would also step up to the plate and take some of the responsibilities. But again, there's a very, very clear alignment between us, a chamber, ensuring that mining is synonymous to responsibility and sustainability. And so I'm not too sure much would change in that endeavor. The only thing that you might see happen a lot more is by virtue of the opportunities given to me, a lot of the engagement with the major stakeholders, using the vehicle of the chamber would be enhanced. So if anything at all, I'm hoping that we would be in a better position to be able to improve our sustainable and green mining initiatives.
From one chamber to the other, the chief executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Kufuor, is optimistic the 1 cedi levy on fuel is unlikely to cause shifts within the market, despite claims that the new levy could impact fuel prices, the distribution chain, and the broader economy. Dr. Kufuor says the impact will not cause any major shift in the market.
I don't necessarily think so. It's not something that will cause any market shift. You look at the discussion around the cheaper fuel. There hasn't been any major investment, especially those who are using maybe e-vehicles or those who are using other alternative form of energy. The infrastructure has not been developed that much in that part of the world. So it's not going to shape the market into a certain, but maybe within the upper tier and the lower tier OMCs, they may likely push some people within the realm of purchasing from, not necessarily the high-end ones who overheads are high, and as a result of that may want to push the whole 1 cedi to the consumer. So that is what most likely going to happen, but not necessarily a market shift that like moving people from, let's say, white products to, let's say, using LPG as a means of their gas to power their engines or moving to EV vehicles, which has not necessarily been popularized in our part of the world.
The African Continental Free Trade Area has disputed claims that suggest that the value of intra-African trade currently hovers around 15 to 18%. Secretary General Wamkele Meni explained that some export domains are not included in such data. Hence, the Secretariat will provide the accurate data soon. More in this report.
So the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, His Excellency Wamkele Meni, at the event has been speaking on how the Secretariat intends to, provide its own accurate data. He's also been touching on the fact that, the Secretariat is planning to help sub-Saharan countries also move away from exporting primary commodities and at raw state.
By some accounts, and the accounts vary, intra-Africa trade ranges between 15 and 18%. Of course, I have a different view because I believe that the true scale of Africa's internal trade is significantly higher than the 15% to 18% range, given the prevalence of informal cross-border trade, and of course, the contribution of smallholder farmers and small medium enterprises, which is not captured in the data that we compute. So we have to provide the evidence that intra-Africa trade is higher than the range of 15 to 18%, and the AFCFTA Secretariat is working on that, and soon we shall be in a position to announce what we believe are accurate figures that express intra-Africa trade.
Chief Economist at the Afri-Exim Bank, Dr. Iyemi Kale, at the event has also been speaking about how the bank intends to, support these local businesses, to thrive amid economic challenges.
I think if you listen to the different conversations we have had today, you will see that this is not a talk shop. We are not here to speak about what Africa can do. We are here to invite Ghanaian businesses, the Ghanaian public and private sector, to come to the IATF 2025 in Algiers. Now, what we do there is not a talk shop. We are here to connect African businesses. It is a well-established fact that one of the ways that African governments, the African continent can develop very quickly is if we increase intra-African trade, if we trade more with ourselves. And that's what the IATF is all about.
The IATF roadshow, which is slated for September this year, is a roadshow that intends to deepen the intra-African trade among African countries. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
MTN Ghana, in collaboration with Emirates Airline, is deepening customer engagement through its MTN Rewards platform. At a special event to honor winners of the Mother's Day promo, Senior Specialist for Consumer Marketing at MTN, Sandra Odru-Entry, revealed plans for even more tailored offers, including new incentives for Father's Day.
At the MTN House Media Room, smiles lit up the spaces as winners of Mother's Day promo received their rewards. Speaking in an interview, Senior Specialist for Consumer Marketing at MTN, Sandra Odru-Entry, revealed that the initiative aims to recognize and appreciate loyal customers with tailored voice data and lifestyle offers.
We launched MTN Rewards Mother's Day promo on the 10th of May for our women and our mothers on our network, and we saw that customers are really happy with the promo. And that's not all. As we said earlier on, Father's Day just around the corner, and we also intend to also reward our fathers on the network with special offers as well. So we are happy that MTN is connecting with customers all around.
Sandra Odru-Entry adds that MTN's reward strategy is driven by customer insight, ensuring that each offer is relevant and useful. From travel discount to hotel deals and airtime bonuses, the company plans to enroll even more partners onto the platform in the coming months.
We just don't put offers out there. We see what customers want, and then we give it back to them. So when you go onto the MTN Rewards platform, you realize that there's something for you every day. And we intend to put in more partners on. We intend to enroll more partners on to ensure that wherever you are, you can be able to benefit. We want you to see your MTN phone as a part of you, so that everywhere you go and you hold your phone, you get value for something that you want. You can't just use your phone just like that. But as you're using your phone, you are getting back something. You're getting back either you're getting voice offer, either you're getting a data offer, or a relevant partner will be on that you can choose from. You can get various discounts.
The ultimate winner of the Mother's Day promo, Bernard Nkrumah, a student pursuing electrical and software engineering through both in-person and online courses, says his frequent internet use, streaming anime, and attending virtual classes helped him accumulate the points that led to his big win. With plans to launch tailored Father's Day offers next, MTN says its rewards platform is here to stay, bringing value back to customers with every call, click, and connection.
You're still watching Prime Business. As Ghana intensifies efforts to reduce its carbon footprint by 2030, the role of corporate institutions in enhancing the country's vegetative cover has become increasingly vital. Leading the charge is Credential Life Insurance Ghana, which has committed to planting 5,300 seedlings at Obane in the Adan East District between June 5 and June 30th. Now, Head of Sustainability at Credential Life Insurance Ghana, Gifty Owusu, emphasizes that protecting the environment is valuable. Kwame Anka reports.
For this year's tree planting exercise at Adan 4 Obane in the Adan East District of the Greater Accra region, Credential Life Insurance Ghana, Strategic Youth Network for Development, the Forestry Commission, Adan Senior High School and community members are planting 5,300 seedlings. These include mahogany, ofram, fruit tree crops such as coconut, mango, and orange. This follows planting of 2,000 seedlings last year at the Songo Ramsar site, which was fast losing mangrove. Here is Head of Sustainability at Credential Life Insurance Ghana, Gifty Owusu.
A Ramsar site, of course, and then we know that this place has been endangered for quite a number of times due to some livelihood activities. So you realize that people end up cutting some of the mangroves here for some for charcoal, some also for firewood and many other activities. So we believe that grassroots is very important. So if you can see, most of these community members are involved in the activities that we are doing over here. You can see the school children also here helping in implementing this great project.
Site manager at the Songo Ramsar site, Ernest Apenkwa, says the exercise has economic benefit for the local community.
You know, when you plant these mangroves, there are a lot of fishes that lay their eggs under the roots, especially the red mangroves. So it increases the fish stock. At the end of the day, they will get more fishes and they are improve their livelihood. They also get crab, sell them and get income to take care of their dependents. So the benefit, you need to try to restore all the degraded lands within this area so that at least our biodiversity will increase, our habitat loss will increase, and we will get more migratory birds coming to the site.
Leading the mangrove project at Obane, Salome Eje says restoring mangrove in the area will help reduce flooding.
And mostly these communities do need help when it comes to this because they are very vulnerable and they don't have the resources to help them build a resilient community. So what I will entreat or what I will plead with some funders, some organizations like what Credential Life Insurance Ghana is doing is to get more support from organizations, NGOs, funders to go into communities such as this to do these projects to help the communities withstand some of these harsh conditions that are posed onto them in terms of climate change and other hazards that get to them when it comes to heavy rainfalls, dry spells and all those things.
Meanwhile, patron of the Wetlands Club at Adan Senior High School, Anthony Arthur, club members and community members were excited to be part of the exercise, which will ensure sustainability.
Executive Coordinator of the Strategic Youth Network for Development, Ezekiel Chimbize, has lauded the government's decision to ban plastic use, describing it as a crucial move towards protecting Ghana's marine ecosystem from pollution and long-term environmental degradation. He was speaking at the 2025 World Ocean Day celebration here in Accra.
This year's World Oceans Day celebration focused on the vital role oceans play in sustaining life and livelihoods. The event brought together students, youth groups, and environmental organizations, all united in their call to protect marine ecosystems from pollution and the impact of climate change. Executive Coordinator of the Strategic Youth Network for Development, Ezekiel Chibize, welcomed the government's recent decision to ban plastic use, describing it as a significant step towards safeguarding the environment.
France is working very hard with the Ghanaian government on climate change. Let me give you two examples. We are working on sustainable cities with the French government, the Ghanaian government, and the European Union also. In Tamale, in its five other cities in the north of Ghana. We are also working on agri. It's very important because you know more than me, and especially the farmers of Ghana, that the climate change impacts their production, impacts the food. And so we, perhaps just to speak about the water, there is some issue about to get the water for the farmers, so we are working on dams. Also, perhaps for all of us to preserve water, for the farmer, for the citizens, also for the companies.
Head of Cooperation at the French Embassy, Julien Lecas, also spoke at the event highlighting ongoing initiatives aimed at enhancing climate change mitigation.
I think it's a good call, even though it appears that it was a sudden call. I think that I also do admit that the industries, those producing those plastics, won't be happy. I would have thought that the president would have engaged these businesses for them to appreciate the reason why we need to stop producing those plastics and even help them to transition to better products as against the plastic they're producing. Some time ago, I got to know that I saw a plastic bottle, and I was told that that plastic bottle was made from, not plastic bottle, it looked like a plastic bottle, but it was made from plant, But if you hold it, you might think it's a plastic bottle, but this is something produced from plant. So what it means that it can decompose when you leave it, in the ground. So it means that because of research and development, there are better products that are coming into the system, and therefore we should also find a way to transition to those better materials that if we want to dispose them of, they will not cause menace, in the environment.
The event was organized by the Strategic Youth Network for Development in collaboration with Alliance Française and the French Embassy.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of Global Aviation Gideon Raji has called on the government to support Ghana's fast-moving consumer goods sector. Speaking at the 2025 FMCG Summit and Awards, he highlighted that government is backing vital expansion of employment opportunities and strengthening the industry.
The consumer is so evolving because today a consumer like a particular brand, tomorrow they like another brand. So the consumer is so evolving. However, in order to meet a consumer demand, it means that it requires that the brands also become meaningfully very different. They become unique in their taste, they become unique in their promise, to deliver your brand promise. And once that is done, the consumer is well assured and the consumer gets stuck to a particular brand. Many a times people take awards, people attend, people organize award events, and it just ends there. But we don't want to end there. We want the winners of our awards to also be impactful. So by so doing, we created the incubation program, basically for the young marketers.
Thank you so much for watching Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. Razak is next with Prime Sports.